Greetings, programs! Once again, I'm going to say, welcome to a video I did not think I would be able to ever make. This one that goes a lot more true, though, because I have achieved one of my grails when it comes to collecting Starscreams. So, again, no point in trying to hide it. Thumbnails, titles, blah blah blah. It's hard to actually surprise people with things on YouTube. But we're looking at Cloud Starscream. Yeah, this is such a pile of weirdness. I am really excited to finally have this thing. It's so weird. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Because of the mold this is based on, I'm sure plenty of people who didn't know about this recognize this as the Generations Blitzwing mold, or the Generations Double Dealer mold. Yes, that is what this is based on. He even has Double Dealer's head sculpt, which means his head looks a little bit weird. But I still love this thing. As you can see, we're starting off in the tank. It seemed the easiest point to start with dealing with a triple changer. Yay, I'm reviewing a triple changer. I'm not sure I've done this on the video before, or at least for a long time. But yeah, he's a triple changer. We've got him as a tank. It's so weird to have Starscream as a tank, but it somehow works. With the null rays being out here on the sides of the turret, and, you know, the little bit of red metallic paint here and there with all the blue, and this, you know, nice kind of pearlescent gray. No, this isn't the type of gray pearlescent, you know, plastic that goes GPS. This guy would already be disintegrating with age if this was GPS, thankfully. It works. I don't know why it works, but it works. And I'm glad that it works. Not the cleanest thing, especially when you look from the back. A little bit of an issue with this that we'll get into more in the plane mode. There are little tiny camber wheels under him that work shockingly well. Like, there's enough mass in this guy as a Voyager figure, especially a Generations, you know, older Voyager figure, that these tiny little wheels actually, they earn their keep with him. That's kind of impressive. The turret does rotate. It hinges at a weird point, but it does move. You can move the barrel up as well, which breaks the sculpt really badly, but it works. This is one of the ones where you pull back on the barrel to try to fire the missile. Come on. Yeah, the missile doesn't really work all that well, if at all. Okay, there, yeah. It is spring-loaded. There is a spring in there, but something tells me it's been, like, in storage long enough that it's not really really springing anymore. And it is just the most plain, boring gray missile you've seen, so who cares? You do not get this thing for its wonderful missile gimmick. You get it because it's weird. It's so weird. So, really quick, let's go ahead, get him into his plane mode as best as I can remember how. Start off, you're going to actually have to deal with two tabs, one right here, and then one, you can kind of see its strut right there. So you'll sort of rotate this piece ever so slightly to get it free, bring it out, come to the end of the turret here, or not turret, tread here, and start folding this out. Fold this piece up and in, while also folding out the wing. And then you can see there's kind of a little track here on this end of the tread. You'll go ahead and push it in all the way, so it actually hides most of the way away. And rotate this out to the side like that. And here you can see that that little tab that's kind of locking up into this section, as well as you can see its replacement that's now going to go back in and do the same thing. There is now not something that's going to lock in there. But before we lock this in, you're actually going to fold this blue piece down, for which you have to get the leg in just the right spot to give it the clearance. It will lock in. And then you can see there's two offset struts here. You'll go ahead and collapse this in. Then rotate this up and in to... It'll actually slot into this area as well as pop in up there. So we'll go ahead and bring the wing out like that. You can see a little tab right there. You would expect that tab to be for keeping it from popping out. But as best as I can tell, it's actually just to keep it from pushing in too easily. So that's weird, but kind of nice. And then you've got this little piece here to just fill the wing out a little. There's two little divots right here, as well as there's just the littlest nub on the back side of this panel. So you kind of have to like push this piece up as you're rotating it to make sure it actually stops in that section. But, you know, go through that and eventually it locks in place. Then you just come here, fold up this little wing. Then you unpeg this part right here. You can see the little slot there, tab there. Then just rotate it. Or actually, no, we need to bring these up for just a second, because we are going to need some clearance here in a moment. Oh, sorry, I saw some asymmetry I wasn't expecting. But really quick, let's go ahead and I'll just do this part off camera. We are dealing with the triple changer. There's no point in making you watch the same thing that many times, especially if it's going to take as long as that takes to do. But go ahead, make sure the turret's lined up straight here. Come to the bottom side and start folding out the nose. Go ahead, just let it sit there for a second. Then take the turret here, which is on a double hinge. You're going to want to hinge it up as best you can to stay kind of flush to the underside of the jet. But now that it's at least that far, we'll go ahead and bring these back down and tab them in this direction. Just gives them that little bit of extra, you know, jet sleekness. Bring this panel up. And you can move the null rays, by the way, underneath the wings here if you want. But according to all the official, you know, images and stuff I've seen, you actually leave them like that. Oh, and there's tabs facing upwards here now that we've rotated that, so that the turret will tab in and stop spinning freely. But as you brought this around, it probably opened itself up there, so just go ahead, bring this up the rest of the way, close it in like that, bring the turret down the rest of the way, so it's just kind of there underneath the jet. And go ahead and fiddle with this stuff, get it how you want. I believe the official way is to just have these kind of straight out. I haven't had time to tighten this ball joint up yet, so this side is incredibly floppy. But yeah, there you have your Cloud Starscream in his jet mode. This is easily the weakest mode of this mold. All three versions, the jet mode looks kind of goofy. And in all three versions, the head mode, the jet mode is compromised heavily because of an engineering thing that we're going to run into for robot mode. The head is spring-loaded. This piece, because it has to be, you know, safe for stupid little kids, is made of rubber. This piece should not have been made of rubber, or soft plastic, I guess. That means that, yes, there's this spot here on the cockpit that's trying to peg in and hold on to it. It doesn't. You will always have this little bit of gap, and the longer this figure is displayed in this mode, this gap will get bigger because the head is spring-loaded and is going to continue to push this out. If you want, while he's like this, you can also just fold this up and backwards like that to kind of hide that turret away. There is also a landing gear down here you can fold out. Sometimes folding this out will help hold the nose in place a little better, so there is that at least. Got some molded, non-rolling landing gear back here. I mean, it's a Starscream figure, so I'm glad it does still have a jet at some point. The jet is not why you get this. Again, you don't get this for any of its modes other than the fact it's weird. Because it's a triple changing Starscream. I've said that before. I'm going to say it again. But let's go ahead and get this guy into his robot mode now. And it is easier to get him to the robot mode from the jet mode. Go ahead and fold those little tabs back in. And yes, you can do all the transforming without moving these off of back here, which is nice. But go ahead, unpeg these, and rotate them out just a bit here. And actually, we'll go ahead and rotate them up as well, which will get the null rays on the correct side here. And we'll take the turret, bring it all the way back up. If this comes unpegged, yeah, it's going to come unpegged. Go ahead and, once again, kind of twist these pieces, bring them out to form the legs, come to this side, fold up the nose cone, fold the center section back around, push this back on its double hinge, and you're going to have to bring this piece down, shove this kind of in between there as best as it goes, and then bring the turret back up. This is a weird figure to transform, I'm not going to lie. Rotate the treads forward, push the wings in as far as they go. They will not go in all the way because the treads are locked in all the way, so you're only going to get to about there before things start to interact with each other. Rotate the feet, open them up. I recommend taking the little tail fin and just kind of bring it back along the ankle like that. Same thing here. Fold the wing up, which I did off camera because it was on the back side, but open the feet, bring that back. Yeah, spring-loaded head will have at least gotten itself partway out, but it will need help for that last little bit. And then, this is kind of the biggest downfall of this mold in all of its incarnations, is the shoulder design here. It's hard to explain, but you can see that I fold this piece down, and you end up with that. Then it all comes down together. And there's a little notch right here that's going to tab in on that little nub you can see kind of sticking out there. So let's go ahead, bring all this down, get it as tabbed in as I can here. And yeah, legendarily, this piece of transformation, it was a mistake. Like, because it just does not hold well. And the funny part is, the reason it doesn't hold well, at least on my copy of this figure, no, preface, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, I do have the Blitzwing version of this. Someday I might do, you know, if I do another repaint roundup, I'll throw that one on and talk about the differences. On that figure, this shoulder, it spins very smoothly, very freely. But this just has no ability to actually lock in. Like, there's a whole thing where you take the chest apart, you sand some pieces down. It's a whole thing. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to do this much work to fix a figure. Me, who's okay with having to do a little bit to fix the figure out of the box, is not okay with how much work that is. That tells you something. This one actually does peg in decently well. But then this shoulder joint is actually so tight that it doesn't matter. So it's like they fixed partially the problem, but then they tightened that shoulder joint and made it just tight enough to where it still keeps breaking it free. But anyway, enough rambling about that. We'll go ahead and fold this piece in to expose the hand. Keep bringing this down and rotate the arm into place. And we've got him good on that side. Same thing over here. Bring this around. Bring that down. Fold this in. And it doesn't tab in or anything. It just sits in there. Make sure everything's like as in place as it gets. And there you've got Cloud Starscream in his robot mode. And this is easily the best mode of the three. This is where you can tell this is Starscream. You can see part of why they used this mold to make a Starscream, because it does have the, cockpit in the middle of the chest. This thing's weird. This thing's very weird. Eagle-eyed will notice that the head looks a little wrong, because he still has the double dealer head, not a Starscream head. I do find it weird they didn't bother actually making a Starscream face for this one. This is a Japanese figure. He's got nice metallic paint on him for the red and this little bit of gunmetal on the chest. I would have expected them to make a new head. They didn't. Oh well. Articulation-wise, the head can rotate. It's just on a hinge, so all you get's left and right. You want to only rotate it this way, but you do have a full rotation at the shoulders. The shoulders can move out incredibly tightly, all the way out and up. Bicep swivel there. 90-degree bend at the elbow. Take that back in. Nothing at the waist due to all the other craziness that's going on for transformation. But he can kick forward. He can kick back. He can do the splits and then some. There is a rotation right there above the knee. Even with the wing kibble sticking out of the back, he ends up having a little bit past 90 degrees at the knee, which is nice. The ankles are on ball joints, so you get some tilt, some back and forth. Obviously, you can move the feet, in and out a little. It's a very weird figure. It's very, very weird. And I'm not sure I can even say, if you collect Starscreams, you must go get this one. If you collect Starscreams, you've probably already got this one, or you've looked at it and said, this is too weird, I'm good. So, it is such a weird thing. Oh, I forgot to mention, after you fold this piece up, he does also have a wrist rotation, by the way. Cool. Yeah, he's super weird. He's super weird. I'm still very, very glad to own him at the end of the day. This is one of those things, I did not think I would ever get him. I very openly said, I'm okay with things not being great, as long as they're interesting. I find this weirdo incredibly interesting. I need to tighten up that one ankle joint, and, maybe we'll see about going through the hassle of doing the thing to make these snap in even tighter so they don't pop out all the time. But yeah, again, this is a figure where if you collect Starscream, you probably already knew about it. You've probably already decided I want one / I have one, versus, this is too weird, this is too stupid, I don't want it. Me, who likes stupid and weird things, I'm very, very glad to finally have this guy. Huge thank you to my buddy Xakimus Prime for hooking me up with this thing. his channel in the description, as always. Whenever I shout someone out, I try to throw links in the descriptions. By the way, because I know this has happened a few times and I haven't caught it, if on my videos I say, like, I thank someone and I mention their videos, if there's not a pinned comment or they're in the description, generally I just use the description, please say something. I meant to put a link there. I like linking to people. I forget, though. But either way, Cloud Starscream, super, super weird. I'm so glad to have it. It's so weird. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll see you next time.